Don Lemon has been arrested. Can we just get a hip hip hooray? I know I'm happy about this. Let's get right into this. From the New York Times, federal agents arrest Don Lemon over Minnesota church protest. The former CNN anchor has said he was not demonstrating, but reporting as a journalist during the interruption of a service inside St. Paul Church earlier this month. Oh, wow, this is incredible. This is great news. I feel like finally something is happening. The former CNN anchor, Don Lemon, was arrested late Thursday night on charges that he violated federal law during a protest at a church in St. Paul, Minnesota, his lawyer said. In a case rejected last week by a magistrate judge, Mr. Lemon said he was simply reporting as a journalist when he entered the city's church on January 18th to observe a demonstration against the immigration crackdown in the area. The protesters interrupted a service at the church, which is crazy. That's your First Amendment right to worship the Lord, where an immigration and customs enforcement official serves as a pastor and chanted "ICE out." Wow, that's dark. I didn't even know they did that. Just because the pastor worked for ICE? That's so creepy. That's so evil. That's like demonic. Afterward, the Trump administration sought to charge 8 people over the episode, including Mr. Lemon, citing a law that protects people seeking to participate in a service in a house of worship. It also protects people outside of abortion clinics. So they did this law that basically locked up a bunch of people that were protesting at abortion clinics. And it now applies to houses of worship. So congratulations. But the magistrate judge who reviewed the evidence approved charges against only 3 of the people, rejecting the evidence against Mr. Lemon and the others as insufficient. The Justice Department then petitioned a federal appeals court to force the judge to issue the additional warrants, only to be denied. Abe Lowell, a lawyer for Mr. Lemon, vowed to fight the charges. Don Lemon was taken into custody by federal agents last night in Los Angeles, where he was covering the Grammy Awards, Mr. Lowell said in a statement. Don has been a journalist for 30 years, and his constitutionally protected work in Minneapolis was no different than what he has always done. This is so crazy because the people worshiping had a First Amendment right that Don Lemon obstructed. There were kids that were crying in that church. It's so insane. I hope he sees the inside of a prison cell for some time. I feel like he won't, though. We'll see. Mr. Lowell added, this unprecedented attack on the First Amendment. Yeah, how ironic. Unprecedented attack on the First Amendment, indeed, by your client, Don Lemon, and transparent attempt to distract attention from the many crises facing the administration will not stand. Don will fight these charges vigorously and thoroughly in the court. What crises he's facing the administration? You mean like the fact that immigration is enforcing the law? Is that a crisis? The Trump administration has pursued 2 criminal charges against the church protesters and Mr. Lemon, conspiring to deprive rights and interfering with someone's religious freedom in a house of worship. Indeed. In the larger fight over the White House's aggressive immigration crackdown in that city, the Justice Department has pushed hard to charge people who participated in or who were at the church protest. Good. I want to see more of this. The administration posted arrest photos of the first arrest over the church protest, and a White House social media account posted a doctored photo of one by the people to make it look as if she was crying. Mr. Lemon is scheduled... Wait. Arrest photos of the first arrests over the church protest, and a White House social media account posted a doctored photo of one of the people? Oh, I remember hearing about that. Yeah, that was weird. Mr. Lemon is scheduled to appear in federal court in Los Angeles on Friday. Now that he has been arrested, he's likely to challenge the prosecution's case by arguing that he was not protesting. I like how they say that 3 times in this article. But rather covering the event as a journalist. No, he was there protesting, dude. He announced it was happening prior. So he had foreknowledge of the event. Once the protest started in the church, which is illegal, by the way, you can't do that, we did an act of journalism. We did journalism by stopping people's First Amendment rights. It's so demonic. which was report on it and talk to the people involved, including the pastor, members of the church, and members of the organization. Yeah, that's not what you did. You guys yelled and screamed at people, stopped the church from undergoing its First Amendment rights, and made children cry. That's what you did. You're evil, Don Lemon. You're evil, and I hope you go to jail. Mr. Lemon said in a recent video, "That's it. That's called journalism." Yeah, that video was so evil. Mr. Lemon now works as an independent journalist and has his own YouTube show. He was pushed out of CNN in 2023 after 17 years at the cable network amid criticism that he made sexist comments about women and aging. Yeah, he said a bunch of other weird stuff too. Look up the clip about black holes. That one was hilarious. Mr. Lemon has been a longtime critic of President Trump dating back to his first term and frequently calls the president a liar. Well, Donald Trump does lie, in fairness. But Trump's not doing great. But Don Lemon is crazy. Justice Department officials have vowed to prosecute protesters they claim have crossed a line from activity protected by the First Amendment to impeding law enforcement or, in the case of the church protest, violating others' rights. Yes, exactly. For their part, demonstrators who have turned out in force in Minneapolis have asserted that their rights are being violated as they try to speak out against the crackdown. On Friday morning, a prominent independent reporter in the Twin Cities, Georgia Fort, who has also filmed the protest at the church, said in a live stream video on Facebook that she was being arrested by federal agents. Ms. Fort said in the video that agents had come to her door and that a grand jury had indicted her. Again, you're not a journalist going and interrupting people's First Amendment rights. That's not people holding a church service is the same as somebody speaking in public. They have the right to speak. That's like going and holding their mouth closed. You can't do that. We've made laws about this already. Ms. Fort said in a video that agents had come to her door and that a grand jury had indicted her. Yeah, good, exactly. We have laws in this country. She said, and we have those laws for a reason. She said she was about to surrender to them and be taken to the Whipple Federal Building that has become the headquarters for federal operations in Minneapolis. This is all stemming from the fact that I filmed a protest as a member of the media, she said in the video. Again, the cope. Crazy. Tensions remain particularly high in Minneapolis after federal immigration agents fatally shot 2 protesters there. Those were not protesters. Renee Good attempted to run somebody over. Yeah, she actually did hit the officer. He had internal bleeding. A mother of 3. Oh, they always say a mother of 3. How about an attempted murderer of 1 or 2? How about that? Was behind the wheel of her car this month. And I don't think she was trying to kill the officer. I just don't think she cared if she did in the process of getting away. When an ICE agent fired at a close range, to save other people's lives and his own. Hero. Administration officials branded her a terrorist. Yeah, she is. And claimed that she endangered the life of the agent. She did, and he almost died. Thank the Lord, he didn't. In a separate episode, and everyone who watched that video and thought anything other than she put that agent's life in danger and he had every right to protect the public from her and protect himself from her, is, I think, mentally ill. I think we're living in 2 different realities. In a separate episode, Customs and Border Protection agents on Saturday shot and killed Alex Preddy. Yeah, the dude who 11 days prior to that was spitting on cops and kicking out their headlights and their taillights to their vehicles and acting insane. This person's mentally ill, just got divorced recently, and the rumor is because of his politics. So this person was not well, and I think wanted to go out suicide by cop to essentially try to change the narrative. Videos from the scene undercut early claims by administration officials that Mr. Preddy approached the agents brandishing a weapon. You see him in the video with the weapon. So I don't know what this article is talking about. Oh yeah, I forgot. It's the New York Times, right? Mr. Trump suggested on Wednesday that he was willing to de-escalate the situation in Minneapolis without providing details. He replaced the Border Patrol official who has been the public face of the aggressive immigration efforts in Minneapolis, Gregory Bovino, with his border czar, Tom Homan. Mr. Homan has signaled a willingness to reach an agreement with local officials and drawn down the thousands of federal agents sent there. The arrest of Mr. Lemon comes against the backdrop of turmoil inside the U.S. Attorney's Office in Minneapolis. As a tense meeting earlier this week, a number of prosecutors challenged the head of the office about the administration's decision not to persuade investigations of the shootings by federal agents. Well, why would they? They have qualified immunity, and those shootings were justified, according to people familiar with the internal discussions. At least half a dozen prosecutors have resigned, and more departures are expected. Man, this country is getting divided. Attorney General Pam Bondi has called on other federal prosecutors' offices in the Midwest to send temporary reinforcements to help investigate and prosecute cases. This country is getting so divided, and I want to know what you guys think in the comments below. Do you think Don Lemon should have been arrested? What do you guys think about possible impending civil war? And what are your thoughts on the solution? How do we move forward through this? To me, I think the only solution is to stop the left from doing what they say they're going to do, which is lock up people on the right the moment they get into power. And the only way we can do that is not just to lock them up, it's to completely defund the entire network. The way USID was defunded, that's just one tentacle of this giant monster that's a giant octopus. It's just one of the octopus tentacles that was sliced off. There's still a giant beast behind there, and there's many other tentacles we've yet to discover. So I think a lot more work has to be done, and that involves all of us on the ground. Keep your eyes and ears open, make content and inform people so that we can all vote properly and stay healthy, stay informed, stay intelligent, and most of all, stay true to God. God bless you, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye for now.